this is Tara. Today let's study Sutra number 13. What does it say? Tatra sthitau yatnaḥ abhyāsaḥ. Tatra means in that place. Sthitau, established. Yatna, effort, like prayatna. Abhyasa, practice. In Maharishi Ved Vyasa's commentary, he says of these, practice is the effort to establish steadiness. This is how Sri Ramaprasada translates. Steadiness is the undisturbed calmness of the flow of the mind. When is this undisturbed calmness? When it has become free from modifications, that is the vrittis. The effort to secure that is abhyasa. Also the aspiration to wanting to secure this is part of the abhyasa. In Vachaspati Mishra's glossary, he adds, when the mind has become free from the modifications, that is separated from the modifications due to rajas and tamas, the flow of modifications of the quality of essence, that is the sattvic modifications, become established in the shape of calm, one-pointedness and purity. And this, he says, is steadiness. Now, Swami Satyananda translates it a little differently. He doesn't translate tatra as in that place, he translates it as of the two. And he says this sutra refers to yesterday's sutra. What is he saying? Of the two mentioned in the previous sutra, that is practice and that is abhyasa and vairagya, practice and detachment, to be established in the endeavor is abhyasa. So he says Patanjali is referring to the previous sutra. Patanjali is explaining in the sutra the meaning of the word abhyasa. So abhyasa means to be perfectly fixed in spiritual effort, that is sadhana. And the effort here involves the practice of chitta vritti nirodha, the cessation of the vrittis. It may include, Swami Satyananda says, meditation or karma yoga or bhakti yoga or whatever other spiritual practice you may have. But he says it's important to remember that simply practicing something is not abhyasa. Abhyasa means continued practice. You cannot stop the practice. It becomes a part of your personality, a part of your individual nature. Hence, Patanjali uses the word sthitau. Sthitau is established. So what is he saying? That when abhyasa becomes natural, when it becomes rooted and complete, it leads to samadhi. So your abhyasa, continued practice, is a process of establishing itself. Samadhi is establishing itself through your practice. Therefore, there cannot be an interruption. It has to be sthitau. Swami Vivekananda translates it very simply: continuous struggle to keep the vrittis restrained is practice, and this attempt to restrain the mind and chitta to prevent it from sending out the waves which he describes as vrittis. BKS Iyengar says practice is a steadfast effort to still these fluctuations. And the effort to still the fluctuations in the consciousness and then to move towards silencing the vrittis, to attain a constant, steady, tranquil state of mind is abhyasa. Now, in order to free the mind from fluctuations and to reach steadiness, the practitioner is advised, BKS Iyengar says, to practice all the yogic principles from yama to dhyana. And these comprehensively, the Ashtanga, embrace all disciplines: moral, ethical, physical, mental, intellectual and spiritual. Osho says of these two, the inner practice is the effort to be firmly established in oneself. So the essence of abhyasa, he says, is to be centered in oneself. And whatever happens, you should not move immediately. He says, first be centered, and from the centering, you look around and you decide. And he says, most of us, we just react. Okay? So, abhyasa is first going to the what is established. Okay, it means inner practice, and conscious effort means that I move out. Before I move out, I must move in. So first movement should be towards my center, which is not what we do in our daily lives. And he says, if you can do this, this is a very transformative phenomenon. Because what happens is your whole perspective changes. And what Patanjali is trying to say is that this is a moving from the established place. Because he says all action is a moving away. It is a moving outwardly into the external world. It is sending out more vrittis. So if first you move inwards and go to what is established, to the sthitau, then you are making the unconscious pattern conscious. And the more you make an unconscious pattern conscious, the more gap there is between the moving inwards and then moving outwards, then the more good happens. The less habitual, the less of a rut your response is. And then he says, if you are able to expand this barrier between the response needed in the outer world and the inner stillness, the sthitau, the establishment, the easier it is to act with detachment in the world. Barbara Stoller Miller says, practice is the effort to maintain the cessation of thought. This was Sutra number 13. I hope it was useful to you. Please do leave questions, comments, and do come back tomorrow for Sutra 14. Thank you for listening.